Thank you very much, Esther, for this conversation. I mean, I guess the takeaway is the necessity to frame your own story. The famous saying, which is, as long as the lion cannot tell his story, the hunter would always have the upper hand. So you'll only hear the story from the hunter. So in this case here, what I heard and what everybody spoke about is really the necessity to be able to frame women's messages and own also platforms to push them forward. So two things are key. One, content, so reframing. Second, platforms and ownership of platform by women, or at the minimum, have women represented in the high echelons of media, news organization. But also one more idea which came very strongly is that today, with the changes we have thanks to innovation, you can have your own platform and be heard around the world. Every voice counts. And that's powerful. That's a total paradigm shift from where we were about 2 decades ago or 1 decade ago.
Thank you for that. No, I completely agree. I think it was great that you were also able to bring in that message or that discussion around, male champions or
Right.
allies, as we might want to call them. So I wonder from that, were there any kind of key action items that came out of that discussion to you that you're kind of taking away as well?
Yeah, so, we had this discussion about male champions. Of course, semantic matters. Words matter. Choice of words matter because with words you name things, and then whatever you name, there is a thought process behind it. So again, here the big picture is, hey, 1 + 1, it's 2, gives you 2. So when you talk about a male champion or a male ally, or however else you define it, what's relevant and important, what's critical is the intent that you have somebody who is from the opposite sex and who is there giving his all out to support women. And that is critical. It is important because, we don't live in a perfect world. And so we're pushing to have more voices from women, more female representation. There's still places where women are not, unfortunately, or are very underrepresented. So having male who are there, who take, this issue at heart and can be allies, that's critical. Now, semantic is important, but ultimately, however we call them, male champion, male ally, or whatever else, what counts is the heart is at the right place and they committed to actually improving this world by giving women all the dignity they deserve.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the final question is just looking at, the work of WAY, the work of All Africa, that platform, the wonderful platform that gives, Africans that voice and that point to be able to see what's happening in the continent. How do you see that work in relation to empowering women through women's enterprises, especially as we look towards, achieving our sustainable development goals with regards to women and women's empowerment?
Yeah, so, it's amazing times in Africa, right? Because when you're talking about women's empowerment, women economic empowerment, there's something massive which is happening now in Africa, which is what is called the Continental Free Trade Agreement. So what that means is basically you have one global single market in Africa, from Cairo to Cape and from Dakar to Mombasa, one single global market no borders in terms of protectionism of economic. So that provide a huge opportunity again for women to be out there. So what we are committing at All Africa is to always make sure to do at least two things. First is to be a watchdog, just like as a media, but be a watchdog about, among other things, women's issues. It is critical because if you don't improve women's situation on the continent, you will not improve the continent. We know the figures. We already see that up to 60% or more of what we eat on the continent is produced by women. So if you don't improve, if you're not smart improving their situation, you're not going to improve the rest of the continent. So that is critical. So that's one thing we're going to do. The watchdog to say, hey, we need to do more here. And the second thing is we are going to be actually boosting the platform we have on Africa, because we have a vertical on women in French and in English. So we're going to have more and more work done at the level of creating some sort of a marketplace. We're working on it. We're trying to identify the right partners, including Way, of course, to create a platform in which women can come and find opportunities going on around the continent. So I think that's one of the action points we want to do, and we'll get there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.